Hi, beautiful souls. I'm Clara Lima, and this is Out of This World show. My purpose is to bring the best out of the best ones. Let's evolve and elevate. What's up, guys? Welcome to my show, Out of This World. I'm Clara Lima, and I'm here with the one and only
LoudMouth.
LoudMouth. Yes, Adam LoudMouth.
Yes.
So.
Shit. I wasn't that loud.
Leave it there. Oh my God, look at this energy. I swear I didn't even move it.
You probably want to put this the way that mine is.
That's a good point, though. Loudmouth, boom.
Yes.
As I knock everything over.
Did I mic drop this podcast already?
Yes, you did.
Are you still recording?
Yes.
These are great clips. You can take these and clip it. Like bloopers before and after. Yeah.
And I'll be in it too.
Yes. My man Ryan in here making me look great in 8K. I'm not in the camera anymore, though.
Hold it. Look at the little legs.
Yep, it's fine.
We even moved the camera,
sure?
bro.
Yeah, it's fine. It's cool. You're good to go.
Okay.
So just don't touch it.
Okay, I'm not touching it. 5112, this is number 8.
How did I leave the entire shot?
Oh, because I'm editing.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we're definitely extra over here.
Okay. So, as you saw in your own eyes, LoudMouth did his magic by dropping the mic even before we started.
Yes.
But hey, back to the topic, LoudMouth. So basically, just a little bit about you. You are a first crypto atmosphere model. You're a dad.
Male. I'm the only male atmosphere model in crypto because they're all hot girls and me.
And LoudMouth.
So what an atmosphere model is, a lot of people don't know that term. It just, you know how the guys they pay for pretty girls to be at their party, so it's a cooler party. So that's the same way, but they're called atmosphere models. But I'm the first and only male atmosphere model in crypto because people will fly me to their event just to make it better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. And
it is very amazing. Who would have thought at my age, I was just a small country boy with no education from Kentucky, and now I travel the world for the last 5 years, and people recognize me all over. It's very surreal to me. I'm like, dang, I was just a dad chilling at the house, you know? And now I'm all over the place. And then I moved back to Kentucky because I moved away to Dallas for about 5 years. I moved back, and then I ran into my buddy, and he's like, whoa, I'm like, you got to come with me because there's a whole world out there, you know?
Yeah.
Most people are born, live, and die within 30 miles of the same place. And I would just encourage and inspire people to go see something because it's bigger out there than you think, right?
Of course.
And you find a lot of people that love you for it, that like they haven't been exposed yet, and you haven't been exposed. So exposure is key to success, I believe, and expansion. And we have to grow our capacity. Like some people can't handle certain things because their capacity is not big enough for it. And so once you grow your capacity, you can handle more things. Like there's a lot of people wishing for, I wish I had $1 million, or I wish I had $10 million. Well, they couldn't handle $10 million. Look at the people that win the lottery. And then they are broke and divorced and hanging themselves within months. Why? Because they didn't have the capacity for that yet. That's why it's very important to earn it and get it over time. The journey is the actual goal, right? Like getting to there is the fun part because once you get it, it's like, okay, now what? You know, and then you got to start another journey. So enjoy the journey, enjoy today, because you're never going to make it to tomorrow because it never comes. It's always today. And nobody can ever go to the past. It's already gone. That's why I won't wear a watch. I only wear my bracelets because I want to live in the now moment. And I don't want to be staring at a watch thinking about where I'm supposed to be or regret where I was because I can miss the moment right here.
Yes,
right?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's very true. And as you said, I was just watching today a YouTube clip from a huge spiritual influencer called Maria. She said the same thing as you're saying right now, that we need to expand our capacity inside in order to be able to handle certain things and to be ready for certain things, because it's like the vessel is one of the teachings of Kabbalah. I'm not a Kabbalah expert, but that's the principle of Kabbalah, that we need to have enough
Well, it's
big vessel to be
so
able
to speak on that. Like, there's a scripture in the Bible, and it says you can't put new wine into old wineskins.
Mm-hmm.
And most people just read past that and they don't understand. But if you really look into what that meaning is if you put new wine into the wineskins, if it's old, they're leather and they start to crack and break and lose their elasticity.
Mm-hmm.
So the wine, when it expands the gases, it pops the old wineskins and you lose all your wine. So a new wineskin is soft and leather and it has a lot of elasticity, so it can expand and contract with that. So you want to keep a fresh mind, never lose your wonder, and so you can actually learn how to expand and contract, right? If you get bitter and stuck in your ways, you're going to bust if anything new comes. And so I try to stay like a little kid, and I get mistaken for an adult sometimes, but that's probably because my age.
Yeah. Do you think traveling helps to expand your spirit?
I think the exposure of other things that you normally wouldn't see does, but I don't think changing your geographical location is going to change your life in a sense of most people don't like themselves, and so they're running from them, and they'll move to a new place, or I got to get out of here. But they took them with them. You can't run from you. So you're going to find the same stuff, the same people, the same problems. It has to come from within.
True.
And once your mindset changes, your capacity grows, then actually, yeah, you're going to be traveling, you're going to be exposed to new things, and you're going to learn new things, and it's going to help you in the long run, the big picture, right?
True.
So, yeah.
But when it comes to like certain mentalities of certain countries, there's really places you can't really grow no matter how much you want to grow, how much you want to
True.
expand, like America has a very special way how they welcoming people with expanded mind. That's a fact,
Yeah.
This country has no limits. People here have no limits. It's a very free country, and at least from what I see, what I observe, maybe sometimes very too free, but it has its own magic,
Yeah, I don't think you can ever have too much freedom, right? But the first person you got to get free from is you.
Yes.
Most people are their biggest ops, and I always say you should be your biggest fan, because if you're talking about a painting and you don't like it, you're actually talking about the artist, right? Not the art. And so if you believe God created you and you don't like you, you're saying He did a bad job, right? And it's just you being an opponent to yourself. So if we change our mind, then your life will change. That's why perspective is everything, right? How do you see yourself? And people take you as serious as you take yourself.
Yes.
So how are you telling people to treat you? You don't like how you're being treated? You're telling them to treat you that way. Why does the doctor's office, nobody ever wants to miss a doctor's appointment? Because they're serious about it. They call you with a follow-up, they send you an email, they send you a text, and they make you make an appointment. And so people's like, I can't go, I got a doctor's appointment. Because the other thing didn't take it as serious as the doctor does. So now you feel you can't miss the doctor's appointment.
Yeah, they didn't take their health that serious, I guess. So.
Well, not even that sense. I'm just saying they take themselves very serious in their appointments, in their life. So you can apply that to anything in your life and say, hey, if I think I'm being rejected, then you can change that mentality of stop telling people to reject you. If someone's getting up on a stage and they say, "Oh, sorry, they messed up," well, nobody knew they messed up until they told them they messed up.
Right.
Right. Just keep going. Just keep it going. Keep flowing. Like, don't be so hard on yourself, and enjoy your life, because you can't love your neighbor like you love yourself until you love yourself. True. And that's why we live in such a world where people are treating each other poorly, because they are loving their neighbor like they love themselves. Not very well.
That's extremely true. When it comes to self-acceptance, how do you think that people, where they should start if they really hate themselves, where they should start with self-acceptance? Because many people, they have, let's say, childhood trauma from not being accepted. It could happen, like, for example, to me when I was younger, I was bullied in school. It was very hard. It took me many years to kind of accept myself. I healed myself my own way, my own way, my own artistic, creative way. And but for many people, it's not that easy to actually heal themselves and accept themselves, and to find a way how they can really love themselves. Because with the self-love, it starts what you tolerate. It starts
Yeah, you are what you tolerate.
Yes,
your life is what you
exactly
tolerate.
what you tolerate, and your standards, what you settle for, all these things. It comes. It's very much connected with the self-love, and also like you can see when somebody treat themselves like a queen or king. Oh, I only want the best food, or only when this is my standard of carrying myself certain way. That's not being cocky. That means that you actually respect yourself.
Well, there's a fine line between being confident and arrogant, and most insecure people always mix that line up. Like I tell people when they say, "Oh, money changed that person. Money made that guy a jerk." No, money just exposes who you already are, and so nobody was watching that person when they were broke. So money just exposed them because now people are looking at them. So money didn't change you in a sense. It just exposed who you already were. And so we live in a world with everybody, like all these people are living with an identity crisis. And so to answer your question, you got to start with finding out who you really are and what your creator says about you and who he says you are. And then once you get your identity, then you can start to work on getting better with your goals and aspirations and taking those steps. But it all comes from saying, you know what, I am accepted. I put it this way: when I was a kid, I was mistreated as well too, and obviously I always stood out, right? I was always different, and I never fit in where I was going because of where I came from, and I never fit in where I was going because of where I came from. And so it was like the very thing that was trying to take me out and kill me and bring all this, making me my biggest op. I realized that I wasn't created to fit in. I was actually created to stand out. So when it felt like the whole world was against me, rather than me fight back, I used that momentum by turning around and saying, "Follow me."
Yes. So you became the trendsetter.
And so I always stand out. Now I love standing out. But that was the same thing that made me depressed and on alcohol and drugs and just had no identity, trying to figure out who I was and why I'm always rejected and why is this. And then when my mind changed and I thought, you know what? It's not a bad thing. My perspective on that changed, and it's like now I travel the world for free and make a living off of standing out. It's amazing. I mean, I get probably 20 to 50 comments a day on how people love my outfit or love my jacket or love my shoes or ask me to take a picture with them. Like all those things were trying to destroy me as a child. And now they promote me. All that changed was my perspective.
Yeah.
And my identity.
You accepted yourself and you turn your pain into your power.
That's right.
That's
That's what you do. Like some kids that were abused or beat, that they use it in a sense to fuel their fire, to say, I'm going to show them, right? All the teachers that said I would never amount to anything, they're all still broke. Who cared what they said? Other people's opinion of me is none of my business. It's their opinion. But I made it my business and I valued what people said, not realizing it's not about what other people say about you.
Yeah.
If you came in and said you're a girl, I'm not even arguing with you to prove I'm a man because I know I'm a man. If I'm not sure, I'm going to argue back. Right? So if somebody's arguing to someone that's calling them something, they're not sure who they really are. And so you're letting other things waver you and move you and shake you. And like I was telling you last night, the water that is outside the boat is what keeps you afloat. It's the water you let get inside the boat is what sinks it. Don't let the water get inside you. You be you and float on top of all of them.
The true power is to really be in control.
Self-control. The only thing that the Bible teaches us is the self-control. And other people usually always want to control everybody else because it exposes the lack of self-control in that area in their life. So that if I say you shouldn't drink, that's because I probably had a problem with drinking. And so I'm trying to control you when I can't even control me. I mean, I have a hard enough time controlling me every day. What do I look like telling you what to do or not to do? And I think that's what makes like religion and stuff so ugly and manipulative and control, and people are so upset or mad with church people or religious people. It's because they don't have a clue who they are either. Just because you know about Jesus doesn't mean you know him. It's a totally different thing. I can know all about a celebrity, what foods they like, when their birthday is, where they live, but they're not inviting me to their birthday party because I don't know them. I know about them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know him? That's where you get your identity from. That's what changes you.
If you kind of practice, if you kind of discover yourself through the higher power.
Yeah, because then it doesn't matter how people treat me, church people, non-church people, religious people, non-religious people. I don't care. That is not going to have any effect on who I am. That's why you shouldn't be nice. Nice is contractual, and it's up to something. That's why nice guys finish last. Some guy can be nice to you, but he's trying to get in your pants, right? I'm supposed to be kind, because kindness doesn't change. It's who I am. Don't be nice. Nice is up to something. Kind is who I am. So if you're cussing me out or giving me flowers, it doesn't make a difference because I'm a kind person. If I'm a nice person, you cuss me out, I'm cussing you out, right? Yeah. Don't be nice, be kind.
Yes, that's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
And you can look that up, a definition. Yes. Like, I'm not making this up. These are not even my opinions. It's over my life, what I have learned through experience, because there's some things that can't teach you anything except experience, and that comes with time. Time is the biggest snitch on the planet. It'll expose everybody, because you can fake things for a while, but time will tell on everybody and everything. So just wait a little bit. Don't be in such a hurry.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
How do you connect with God?
Spend time with him. A lot of people get confused when they say to pray, because they say, oh, you know, this or that, and they try to speak a different way than they actually speak. I talk to God like this, because that's how I speak, and he speaks all languages. So when I'm alone, I can talk with him, and I can listen to the still small voice. I never heard the audible voice of God. I'd probably crap my pants if I did, because I'd be so afraid. But I can hear things in my heart. I can see pictures, see in my mind, have dreams, expectations. And as long as it lines up with what he's already written, then it's obviously him, right? And so, and I'm not clever enough to come up with it. I can ask a question and then get a great answer, and I don't know where the heck that answer came from, so it had to be from him, as long as it lines up with his word, right? And so that is the thing that I do, is I spend time with him. There's a scripture in the Bible where it says, these men are ignorant and unlearned, but it is evident they were spending time with Jesus because of things they knew, right? I dropped out of school after 8th grade. I'm an ignorant, unlearned man. But you can tell what I do in secret is openly rewarded and exposed because of who I am, right? I was not always that way, and I'm not perfect right now. I'm perfect because he says I'm perfect, and he made me perfect, but I'm still sanctifying or renewing my mind on a daily basis. My buddy just said, rinse, do every day. So I have to get up and choose every day to live the way that I live, and to believe who I really am, right? And not some false identity that's been told to me or judged and proclaimed over me. I need to proclaim what God proclaimed over my life. And so the Bible's not a bunch of rules to follow, and you can't have any fun. I have more fun than most everybody. Like, I'll dance on the table all night long in the club and out through the party, and I don't drink a drop, right? Now, I'm not saying if you drink it's bad, but for me it was, right? So you can, it's a book of thou shalt can haves if you apply these things. See, God is just sharing what his nature is. And if my kids didn't look like me, I'd have a problem with their mom, because they'd be illegitimate kids claiming that I'm their dad. I think that there's a lot of Christians that are claiming they're the sons and daughters of God, but they look nothing like him. And he told us what he looked like. So your heart's desire is to look like dad. Like, the whole point is to be transformed into his image. And most Christians think it's to repeat a prayer, raise your hand, and die and go to heaven.
Yeah.
Well, then death is your savior, not Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why are you're waiting to die? I'm here to bring heaven and earth. It says, as it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. He sent me from heaven to earth to manifest his goodness and glory. And all of us are here for that. Our purpose is to worship him and to be little children expressing his nature and who he is. So it's the transforming power that's actually the power. Mm-hmm. And we get that through the Holy Spirit, right? God is the creator, Jesus is the savior, and the Holy Spirit is the changer.
Yes. That's
all three in
wise.
one, triune, just like I'm a father, I'm a son, and my name's Adam, or LoudMouth. I'm a loudmouth about Jesus. That's how I actually got my name, because I was 25 before I had an encounter with him and knew who he was. I had heard about him, but not much. And when I had an encounter with him, I was pretty pissed that nobody told me. And maybe they did and I didn't listen, I don't know. But I felt this, like, if this is the truth, why are these people not telling everybody about it in a loving way, not trying to control or tell you have to do anything, but actually sharing like I'm sharing right now. Like, and so I was like, I'll be a loudmouth for you the rest of my life. Like, it saved my life. I should be dead or in prison. I was a horrible, worthless human being with no identity before I met him. And then I found out what he said I was and who I really am. And it changed my whole life. And now I'm a husband and a father of 7 and a granddad of 5 kids. Like,
That's beautiful.
considering the way my life started, that should not be here. That's only God. And you can argue theology all day you want. That's my story. You can't argue that. You can't argue my life. That's real. Realer than the air we're breathing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets me choked up thinking about it. 20 years later, I've never had an encounter with a person that 20 years later I can be full of joy and still bring tears in my eyes. That's crazy. It's real.
That's deep.
Yeah.
So what was your experience about it?
Well, I was facing 25 to life, and I tried my way all I could possibly try. And I kept just getting myself in messes and treating people like they're less than humans. And because the world says chase paper, chase dreams, have sex with a bunch of women, this is success, right? Like every song and propaganda tells that's the way you do it, right? Well, I did that, and it promised everything, but it never delivered anything. And I was miserable. I was tired. I was tired of being a phony, trying to compromise who I really was to get someone else to like me, right? At 45 years, I've never had one convert that somebody didn't like me. I changed who I was to get them to like me, and it worked. So I stopped trying. I just am being me. And if you rock with me, you rock with me. And if you don't, keep it moving. It's okay. It doesn't mean you're my enemy. It just means we're not called to do life together in that sense. But the ones that are will. So the Bible says that we'll be known by the love we show and the fruit we bear, right? There's a lot of Christians out there selling rotten fruit. If I just grow good fruit, guess what? People come and pick it. Like, I didn't come to you. I didn't come to Rich. I didn't come to this person. Like, I just live my life in front of people as a testament of who I am. And the people that want that fruit that I'm growing come and pick it and ask me to come be on podcasts. Ask me what I should do in this area, this area. So you don't have to go and push it on anybody.
So you're
just
on the
grow
flow.
good fruit
You're in
and
the
let them
flow.
come. Yeah. So kings don't chase paper. I've never seen a king leave his throne and chase anything. He gets in his rightful position with his right identity, and it all comes to him. So if he's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, who's the King and the Lords he's King and Lord over? We are, but we got lied to and told we weren't. And so we don't believe that, so we run around with the orphan mentality trying to chase stuff. Get in your rightful position and know who you are. And it all just flows straight to you. Like, literally. My life is a movie. I keep saying surreal like a buzzword, but it is so surreal every day. Like, this is my life. Like, man. And so if I can inspire, help anybody else out there to know that a little sooner than I did, and maybe stop or prevent some of the pain and hurt that you go through to get to that place, man, that's my goal. My goal is to help enough other people get what they want and I'll never have to worry about what I want. I have 3 principles, 3 core values that I live my life by now. The first one is find lonely people and make sure they don't stay that way, right? Because we weren't ever created to be alone. 2, I stole this from Zig Ziglar. He's my hero that walked on earth, right? Help enough other people get what they want, and you'll never have to worry about what you want. Like, I never asked for a stage. I never asked for a podcast, a mic. I never asked for money. I never asked anybody for anything. I just try to add value everywhere I go. And all my stuff just shows up and happens. Like, I can't even hardly explain it. And then the last one is I do my best to leave every place and person better than I found it. It's almost impossible to fail if you actually don't lie to yourself, don't be self-deceived, and live that way. And it looks it can look shady to some people because they always think you're up to something because that's what they've always experienced. But don't let your experience trump what truth is.
So it's basically about living an energy of love and service.
Absolutely.
That's it. And
Absolutely.
then when you are the source, you're going to be blessed. You're in the flow.
Well, because
you're the
I'm a
vessel.
window of heaven, right?
Right, you're the vessel.
So if
yeah.
I trust Him to supply all my needs according to His riches and glory, He's never going to run out, and I'm actually manifesting who He is through me. So sometimes you meet Adam or Loudmouth, but most of the time I really just want people to meet Him. You know, I'm sorry for when they meet me because I'm still being sanctified, still working on it, still trying to get better every day in every way. Because if you're not beating your yesterday, you're kind of losing. If you ain't growing, you're dying. So that's my goal in life. I want to serve others well, have servanthood leadership.
That's who you are. That's how I met you. You know, you have a very authentic, bright energy, very warm. You know, also like, yeah, it's a certain aura that you radiate that usually people would get intimidated. You know, maybe by your presence because they're like, oh, this guy, I can't talk to him because he looks a certain way. A lot of people would get intimidated.
Yeah,
But
so that's why I try to dumb it down a little bit with sparkles and glitter.
It, yes.
Because when I didn't wear that, people just thought I was because I'm 6'2", 240 pounds. I'm like very big and overbearing and loud, and so it does intimidate a lot of people. And so I try my best. Like that's one of my main goals in my life is to operate in gentleness and
kindness.
I'm getting better at it. But I want to be as approachable as possible because when people see me, obviously I stand out, right? But then when they have a conversation with me, they've usually already judged who they think I am in their heart. And when they hear that I'm a father of 7 and a husband and don't drink or don't do any drugs, they're like, oh, I'm never forgetting that because it's louder than my outfit.
Right.
And so loud is not all about volume. It's about what you say and how you say it, how you look, how you help other people, right? That's loud. It's a loud life, and I was created to be loud.
That's beautiful. I love it. I want to hear a little bit about your business. You shared with me before that you were in a constant rat race, building so many businesses. You were in one cycle. You brought a little piece of it when you said that that's when you basically met the higher power.
Yeah, so
that freed you from the illusion.
I thought I was supposed to chase paper and do everything that the rappers told me times 10, right? And so when I had an encounter with Jesus, like music was created to worship. It's the only thing that was created in heaven that we actually have on earth. So whatever you're listening to, you're worshiping. And I was worshiping a bunch of rappers, and they were telling me to smoke blunts and, slap asses and have sex with as many people as you want, chase paper, stack your cash. But it was all treating people in the wrong way.
Yes.
But that's the only way I knew, right? So when I found out who I was and what God said about me, it transformed and changed my life to where I stopped. My ears aren't trash cans. I had to get healthy so I could help other people, right? If you get on an airplane, they say put your mask on first because choking people can't help choking people. But once I get it on, I can breathe and put everybody's on. And everybody that I help along the way can start putting people's on too. So self-care and health is very important or you can't help anybody else. So when I learned that and I started to get healthy, then I could start to help others and get better at what I was doing, like learning more and more on getting better every day in every way, right? And so God had created me a great businessman. I just didn't know it. So I was a businessman for the wrong team. And when I started to do, because I'm the same person, right? I just work for a different team. And so when I did that, I actually became wildly successful in business. That's why I was a good, successful drug dealer, because I was created a good businessman.
Yeah.
And so I got into this zone because we're in different stages in our life, right? And so in that stage of my life, it was the building stage. And so I started working 100+ hours a week. I had 28 properties in my town. I had 7 local businesses. And I had 7 kids and I had a nonprofit. I started a transitional house and married. So I had a huge capacity at that time. But I was neglecting certain things because when my second kid turned 18, I thought, what the heck? I feel 18. Where did that go? And I realized I could never get that back. And I figured out how to make money. So if I need money, I'll just make more of it. But I can't make more time. And so I shut everything down. I got rid of all my properties. We gave a ton of things away, probably over $12 million worth of stuff, and packed up and we moved to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And we just went down there and we started a couple of churches, a couple of ministries, and we started helping people. We started housing Bible students, and we did that for 5 years. And my oldest son and daughter was having kids the whole time, so I left with no grandkids. Now I got 5. The last 3 students moved out, and I looked at my wife and I said, I think our mission's complete here. Let's go back home because I want to be around our family. And so I just was chilling and being a dad because I was doing so much before. I missed out on what really mattered, in my opinion. And COVID happened like a couple months right after we moved. So everything shut down anyway. It was almost like God gave me the insight. I shut everything down, and within 2 months, the world shut down.
That's
because
insane.
He knew my mentality. If I was told I had to shut down, I would have been mad because I hate following a bunch of rules. Like, I'm not a rule follower. I'm how we could figure out a different way because I don't want to just be like the rest. I'm different. And so it was almost like He was such a good, loving Father. He knew what was coming, and He said, I know you. I'm going to put this desire in your heart. It was so crazy. But through that, it drove everybody online. And I had invested in crypto before, so through that crypto, this Web3 world had happened. And so now I started a Twitter, and I started doing Twitter Spaces. Well, I could have 500,000 people, 2,000 people in a room from all over the world listening to me talk. And I was thinking, I mean, I wasn't a social media guy. Oh, I was a hardcore working every day, and a dad. So now I got open to this whole new world. Well, then COVID started to let up, and they started inviting me to these crypto conferences. And when I would get there, I'd still say, hey, I'm Adam. And then somebody beside me, I remember this at this time in San Diego, and he goes, that's Loud. And they go, oh my gosh, you're LoudMouth? Oh man, you helped change my life. You listen. And I was like, whoa. Then it started to happen every city I went. So I was like, this is brandable. And so that's when I started being very consistent, doing the same post because I want to be consistent because I think
brand.
It's part of success, right?
Yeah.
But I'm me. I just it had to happen for me to look back to find out what had happened. Like, how did this success happen? And so I've been traveling the world for the last 5 years on other people's asking me to come be there. And I work with Karate Combat. That's why I'm here in town this time. And they bring me to just do their red carpets, take pictures with people. And it's like, that's my life? What in the world? That's crazy because I'm not a young, hot girl, right? I'm a 45-year-old granddad, but I'm doing a 25-year-old girl's job. It's crazy. And so but I got a ton of followers.
That's magical.
Yeah, I got a ton of followers on Instagram and Twitter. I help other projects, mint out. I'm a big crypto guy. I love it. I believe it's the future. And so that's how I ended up getting them to my life. And then I went back to my hometown about 4 months ago, and people that had watched me and seen that lived there, I kind of got into sect of people there now. So I'm building locally, but I'm still building globally as well. Mm-hmm. And so we got a group of guys, and we're just doing life together because it's very important to, one thing that churches don't really do well is discipleship. And Jesus said He would make disciples, and then we're supposed to be disciples. But most people don't understand what that is. It just means doing life with people, actually loving people, and getting to know each other and caring about one another and encouraging one another, right? The competition, we get that mixed up in the world, that word, but it comes from the original Greek word of komptheos, and it means to conspire together to win. Mm-hmm. So I'm never supposed to race you or him to beat you. I'm supposed to beat me. But because you're running locked arms with me, it inspires me to be a better me. I inspire you to be a better you, and we run the race faster because of it. Yeah. I can never be you. I can never be Ryan. I can never be him. I can never be you all. And you can never be me. So why are we trying to? Right? You know what an NFT is? It's a non-fungible token, right? And it means they're all one of ones, but they can be in a collection of a group. They all look similar, but every single one is different. They might have a different hat, a different smile, a different shirt. We're God's NFTs. He made every single one of us individual, where not even a thumbprint, fingerprint, toe print is the same out of all the people alive today or already was alive and gone, or the ones to come. We're supposed to be different, but all still look like him and be the same too. And that can get really confusing because you have to find out who you are, or you're trying to be somebody else, and that's never going to work, right? So as I've learned that, it's just changed my life, and now a lot of people come and say I helped change their life, and that's the goal. And I don't need anything in return for that, because we're told to walk in love, and love is patient, kind, and it doesn't seek its own. So if I buy you a gift and you don't like it and it makes me upset, I didn't buy that gift for you in love. I bought it for your response for me. It was still being selfish. So if you live a selfish life, you're going to live a miserable life, because you weren't created to be selfish. You were created to be selfless. And the world says the opposite. So it's almost like I'm in the upside down kingdom. Like good is bad and bad is good. But it also is written that would happen. So it's not a surprise to people that are informed. So I don't think people change their mind. I think they make new decisions based on new information. So you might make an informed decision, and you might be living your entire life like that because you're not properly informed or exposed.
Yes.
So
it's all about also being ready to receive the information.
Yeah, when the teacher shows up, when the student's ready, student shows up when the teacher's ready.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so don't be in a hurry.
You have to have a certain life experiences to understand the lesson. Some people, they need 20 lessons in order to understand their
I'm
lesson.
hard-headed. It takes me a long time.
It takes, it's okay though, because it's who you are, and the stubbornness can be used in a different ways, because it's definitely being stubborn.
Yeah.
Because you want to keep going your way, and that can work if the way is the way that works. If it doesn't work, then we have to always, the question that is very healing is like, what can I do better?
Yeah.
How can I manage that situation better? How was it my part?
Yeah.
That happened. I always ask it to myself, and that gives me kind of like great self-reflection, and also kind of sort of responsibility towards my own behavior, because sometimes our mind can be very limited. We don't really see ourselves sometimes the way we are. And also, what is interesting, every human interaction is different. You can be someone's worst enemy, someone's best friend,
Yeah.
and you can just be you. But with some people it works out great, with some people it will never work out.
Well, the people that are called to you and that you're supposed to do life with, they're going to love you the most when you're being who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
Authenticity is something that the world is starving for.
Yeah.
And so if you just start to be authentic, you're going to be known, because that's a healing process for the world. Like, I don't ever get nervous on a stage. You want to know why? Because I'm not performing.
Yes.
Performers get nervous.
Yeah.
I'm being me. And if the place don't like it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to put you on your stage anymore. Don't give me another microphone. Don't ask me back. It's okay. But I'm never going to compromise who I am to meet into your criteria, because I wasn't called to do that. And God's truth is stronger than any reality or experience that I can have. And even if you do all that to get men and women's praises, that's all you get. The Bible says that you can get that by doing that, but that's all you're going to get. And we live, best 120 years? Man, I'm an eternal person. I'm going to live forever.
Yeah.
I'm in the vehicle of a body, which is the legal vehicle for earth, right? That's why demons will try to possess a body, because the legal vehicle to be on earth, manifested the invisible to the visible world, is a body. So what are you going to let dwell in you? It's your choice. Every single day you get to choose. Are you going to let the Holy Spirit fill you? Or are you going to let, wicked things from demonic places and high places and spiritual principalities, fill you?
True. Very true. It's your choice at the end of the day. What you entertain, what you watch, what you listen to. it's all one of the biggest influences is obviously music.
Yes.
The music you're listening to, it's so powerful. People don't even understand how much powerful is, like let's say rap music. It's, myself, I started as a model, then I became a rapper, and I started to
You're very good,
understand.
by the way. You let me listen to a couple songs last night, and they were really good.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm still recording music. I love music, but now it's a different message. It's more, it's more. Basically, I realized that leading people the wrong way, that it's consequences for that.
Yeah, and everybody
spiritual
is a leader in their own right, right?
Yeah,
But
anybody really.
if you can't follow, you're never going to be a good leader. So, but the question is, where are you going to lead them? Because you're going to lead people somewhere. Where are you leading people? Where are you leading people? Because you're leading them somewhere. Do you want your legacy? Do you want your name in history to be written as you led a bunch of people to destruction, or to help and glory and a righteous path on their life?
But this is the thing. It almost seems like a lot of people don't care.
They don't, because
they don't care.
Because they're ignorant. Informed, and ignorant doesn't mean a bad thing. It just means you don't know. Like, I'm ignorant in the language of Spanish. I don't know how to speak Spanish, but I could memorize the Encyclopedia Britannica in Spanish and still not have an understanding of it. So in all you're getting, you're supposed to get an understanding, right? And make informed decisions. So if you don't know about something, go figure out how to be informed on that. And we get lazy sometimes, and we just want to believe whatever somebody else says, right? And then we take it as our own truth.
There is another big truth is the bad experiences are really important too, because if we don't have them, we could never lead people towards the better.
Well, you don't know how to help them
the bad
not get hit by that or that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
The people that anticipate is the winners. Reactors lose, anticipators win. Why can a 6-year-old beat the crap out of me in a video game? Because he played it before. He knows exactly when the bad guy is going to come out of each door because he anticipates it, because he's seen it before, he's experienced it. I don't know, so it pops out, I react, boom, I got shot and died. I reacted. So if you're not anticipating, you're going to react and you're going to lose. So how can you do that? Experience and be informed. You got to find out what doors they're coming by.
Yeah.
But if I don't get shot a couple times, I'll never know that.
Some experiences, like let's say my journey of, drinking and behavior I would not do again. It really led me to where I am, and I can advise younger people how it affected me, where it led me, and I let them do their own decision, because at the end of the day we can only share our testimony, our journey,
Right.
and then everybody will either do their own thing or they will take it and listen to that and be, what, maybe I don't need this experience to become an amazing person. Maybe time is precious, and I can dedicate my 20s, instead of partying, to going to the gym, reading books, and start to be ready for very successful.
But that's what the world thinks, right?
It's
They
amazing.
think it's boring.
No, it's amazing, actually, that everybody should do that. Like, if I could give advice, travel, work on your health, right? Always take care of your health, and eat healthy, drink a lot of water, go to the gym, and read good books. And eventually, these frequencies that you create around yourself, these places you go to, it will give you a better circle than being in the toxic party places, which is really exhausting for the human spirit.
Well, I love being there now, though.
I know, but I know, but
And that's where a lot of people get mixed up in that, because once they feel they get delivered or they stop something, then they almost are afraid of it the rest of their life, so they can't go around it.
I am not afraid of it, because like I don't really care if people drink or do drugs. I really don't have an issue with that. But with me personally, if I go to a very low vibrational place,
oh yeah, when
I
to
really
move on
feel
and when not to.
the second day I feel so, even physically, like I feel very low, like in my spirit.
Well, here's
and
the thing.
I don't know why,
it
but
says,
it's just a fact.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
According
I don't know
to
why.
the word, it says the steps of a good man or a good woman are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. So if you have delight, he is ordering your steps. If your delight leaves, that means that you took some of your own. So it's time to move on. You get back on track. It's so the Bible's so practical, and but people don't pay attention to that. They don't really read what they're reading. They'll read a chapter just to say, I read a chapter. Don't read it to read it. Read it to know him. Read it to let it transform you. Find out what you're actually reading. Get informed, right? And it's not hard. Like I said, I got an 8th grade education. There's something called a Strong's Concordance app on the Bible. I can touch any word and it tells me the original word every time it's used in the Bible, what it means, a definition, an example. Like, it's super simple to touch and it tell you, right?
So does it mean when something makes you physically sick without any reason? Because as I said, I don't do any drugs or I don't drink, but it still makes me feel the same way.
Here's the thing. A lot of people also feel like they get lied to. Like, oh, you accept Jesus in your life, it's going to be peaches and cream. Wrong. And a lot of preachers will tell people that. They convert them, and then 4 months later, like, what the heck? Where'd John go? He was doing so good. Well, you lied to John. You told him everything was going to be great now, and that's not the case.
No, absolutely no. You have to.
Here lies the conflict.
You have to heal. You have
right?
to heal. You have to learn how to deal with your emotions. How to actually.
You have to
tell
start
your
to
trauma.
have self-control.
Yes,
right?
I know.
Self-control.
I know.
And so it's a very powerful thing. And so the way I talk about alcohol is like, okay, I didn't have self-control in that area. Now, my wife, somebody else, they might have massive self-control, and alcohol doesn't affect them at all like that. So I would never tell anybody to drink or not drink. It's not my place. My place is to say, alcohol to me was like if I hired somebody to come work in my office and they kicked the holes in the wall and told me they remodeled. I'm firing them. But if I didn't realize that, I could let that guy convince me that, yeah, you remodeled. And that's what alcohol is to me in my life.
Yeah.
Now, what it is in your life, that's for you to decide, right? And so I know that it wasn't part of my mission. I have a mission. I'm on a mission, and you're on a mission. You're the only one that can tell you what your mission is, and it has no place on my mission. But I love being around other people like that, because if I'm supposed to be the light of the world and the hope of glory in Christ Jesus, then I have to go to dark places. So get off your church bench and actually go where people are at and love them. Don't tell them turn or burn. And get informed, get healthy, and then go grow good fruit, and those guys will pick it. It's great ground. It's amazing ground to be in. And I never have to approach or push or tell anybody. They all come and ask me. And I wait. And that's how I know God has directed my steps, and that's the one I'm supposed to help and share.
It's very true.
Before, it was way different. When I first got saved, I was a radical evangelist. I was running up on everybody, telling them about Jesus and praying for them. And God showed me a whole nother way just in the last 5 years. He's like, no. Live a life with no compromise in front of them, and show them what's possible, and they'll come and pick your fruit.
And
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like getting an alignment, and now everything just flows. And if you don't want it, cool. God gives us a choice. Why shouldn't we let people have a choice? You get to choose whether you want to do it or not. It's your choice every day. Rents due every day. You want to practice self-control or not? You want to do this or not? It's up to you. It's your choice. But you have to live with the consequences, right? So. But now God shows mercy and grace in your ignorance, because he's good. That's his MO. He takes bad things and makes them good. He never sends the bad stuff. Like, oh, God broke my arm, so I didn't have to do it. I would never break my son's arm. That's the stupidest thing to ever say. God never made you sick to teach you something. The enemy is here only to kill, steal, and destroy. And as a good father shows up, you say, my dad can whoop your dad. And he makes a good situation out of it. He turns it from bad into good. Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for the good to them who love him and are called according to his purpose. So if I'm called and I love him, he's making any bad thing that happens to me good. So when you have that conversion and the storm comes, don't be surprised. But now you have peace in the storm. Storm still comes. But before, I freaked out and I made everybody else's life miserable too. Now, they will come to me for refuge because I'm standing in the middle of the storm with peace, because peace is a person. Peace is a person named Jesus. And it's the only way you'll get true peace.
That's a beautiful way how to experience life. Yeah. It's very true what you said. Like, if you want to share the light, you have to be in dark places. And I agree with you, because
That's why I like to shine.
It is true. Like
but
you
I
have
shine
to,
past this
yeah,
because it's Him in me shining.
yeah, yeah. With me, I have my own darkness I go to. For me personally, as I said, clubs. It's like I feel like I spend so much time with actually getting into a different frequency that I just don't vibrate with that anymore. But everybody has a different way and journey, you know. I'm a woman, so I'm wired differently,
Yeah.
you know, I guess. But I feel you, and I always like sense, I always sense with my own intuition that I have to be in front of certain crowds of people I might not even necessarily connect with, but your own presence is there for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
Is literally your purpose, is your mission, and you have to be in certain places. My favorite places are events. I love events.
Yeah, me too.
I really love events.
And here's
like,
the thing too,
yeah.
though. Like, I don't do that stuff to feel like I accomplished something. Like a lot of people, we live in a performance-based world, right? And so some people will be amazing like that because they're performing because they want to be accepted or loved. And they took that from wanting that from people to now they want God to accept them and love them. Well, if you don't already realize that He already accepts you and loves you, you're going to try to perform for Him. God is not looking for employees. He's looking for sons and daughters. And my sons and daughters have total rest, and they never have to get on their knees to beg to open the refrigerator, or I would slap them on the head and say, have you lost your identity? This is our food. This is our house, right? So don't beg God on your knees for a $quarter raise or to give you this or give you that. Like, that's not prayer. That's what the world told you prayer was.
Yeah, prayer is gratitude.
Fellowship with Him, being in the family. You know why God loves me? It's not how many people I share the gospel with. It's not all the bad stuff that I do or did or the good stuff that I do or did. It's because I belong to Him, just like I love my kids, no matter what they do. It's because they're mine. So God doesn't love us because of the Bible study that we did or the church attendance that we have. He loves you because you're His. And when you learn that, everything changes.
That's very beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on so I could share. That was
Of course.
very amazing.
This is why
And
you're here.
a little bit. I didn't expect to get that, you know,
Okay.
deep or whatever you want to say, but I didn't. We don't script, right? We be led by Him. The Bible says, "Open your mouth and He'll fill it." If I'm an ambassador and a representation of Him, then He's gonna give me everything I need. Like when we go to war as a country, we don't tell the soldiers to train themselves, bring their own fatigues, guns, bullets, ammunition, tanks, and jets, right? We fully equip them, fully train them, and give them everything they need to successfully complete the task that they've been sent out to do. So if God sent me from heaven to earth to fulfill something, He fully equipped me with everything. So don't chase the world and the dreams, your dreams trying to catch something or get something, or say, I can't because I got to get this first. You need to seek Him and pull everything out of you. It's already in you, right? Every seed has every apple tree that has every seed for every apple tree. So they said, teach us how to pray. He said, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So He sent us from heaven to earth to bring heaven to earth so He could be the King of kings and the Lord of lords. The only way that a king can be a king of kings is if there's new territory conquered. If we're in heaven, He's the king. Ain't no other king. But we're in earth, He's the King of kings because we conquered new territory. It's either that or the dad has to die so the son can become the king, right? Which He did that as well. So He wants us to bring heaven to earth. Well, He fully equipped me to do that. If He dropped me off in jungle warfare, He didn't say, bring your own stuff or find your own stuff once you get there. He fully equipped me because He's better than our government or our military. And so it's from within. Most people want to chase their dreams, aspirations, and they say, God gave me these. You know, of course I'm supposed to chase my stuff. No. He says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. He'd put those dreams and aspirations in your heart so you would know what's going to chase you down when you chase him down. So now, instead of me trying to go find or chase anything, it all comes to me because I'm in rightful position, sitting on my throne as a king and letting it come to me. And when the problem happens, I don't complain and say, I can't fix that. You ever seen a king go, oh, that's not my problem? A real king doesn't pass the buck. He draws from his unlimited kingdom resources and he handles business. So all the world's problems are not my problems, but everyone that comes to my feet is my problem. Because it's in my kingdom and my feet, and everywhere my feet are is my dominion. If we're an ambassador of a country is actually representing that country. So you never meet that person, you actually meet who they're representing. I'm from the kingdom of God. I'm a sojourner. I am an ambassador of Christ. You're supposed to meet Christ when you meet me, not me. And I'm fully equipped by him. And everywhere my foot is my ground, is from the kingdom of heaven. Jesus and all his disciples preached the kingdom. They didn't preach all this other stuff that I hear. It's the kingdom of God. And repent doesn't mean feel bad about everything you did. Repent comes from the original Greek word of metanoia, where we get metamorphosis. A caterpillar transforms completely into a butterfly, right? A brand new creature. But it says you have to be born again. And repent means change your mind. Let your mind be reborn, and you are a brand new butterfly for the kingdom of God.
That's beautiful.
We are not permanent residents on this earth. We are sojourners in this earth as ambassadors of Christ for the kingdom of heaven.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one more question for you when it comes to, we talked about it earlier about crypto.
Yeah.
Why do you think people should invest in crypto?
Well, because I think that it is digitalization, crypto, blockchain is the future. So you have to first understand a little bit about money to understand why that is. Like, we used to hand out shells as a money as well. You can go further back than that. If I lived next to you and I raised chickens and you built wagon wheels, I had to trade you chickens for wagon wheels, right? Well, carrying around wagon wheels and chickens kind of get exhausting. So they figured out how they could put a store of value of something in something else, a shell, a coin, a dollar bill, anything. And that's what money is. It's all stores of value. It's a ledger. Everybody's keeping track of who stored what value. Well, when money started getting printed everywhere and it wasn't backed by any value, it lost its value and it's going down. A digital blockchain is a digital ledger with no mistakes, triple accounting since its inception. So it's an easier way to keep fraudulent things and printed money, inflation away, because it's digital and it's on blockchain and it's a digital revolution back to the people, because no one entity owns it. No World Bank owns it. There's no one place you can go shut down Bitcoin. There's miners all over the world, and those miners are solving complicated math problems to produce the actual money. So they're storing the value of the Bitcoin from the complicated transactions that's been completed to make that Bitcoin. That's what mining is. Through that, people can purchase that, and now I have a store of value backed by that. That's going to be all over the world. And now that we have smart contracts digitally, so there's an Ethereum that is like a layer-based. Put it this way, like, you know how you build a website on top of a server? Facebook and Google own the servers. Amazon they own the servers, right? So Ethereum is almost like the server that's decentralized through the people. They say, hey, let's all put our computers together and we can build a server just as much as all those rich guys that you can't get one, right? Nobody has enough money to buy the Google server, the Amazon server, Facebook server. So we're like, hey, we figured out how to put all our computers together and have our own transformer super server, right? So now they've done that, so they decentralized it. And then things that are built on top of it are layer ones, layer two. So a layer one is Ethereum. A layer two is built on top of Ethereum, just like a website would be built on top of the server. So those things is actually how you can put utility on it and actually do stuff with the money in the crypto, right? Bitcoin is more of a store of value. It's like gold. It's back in the whole system, everything. So Now we can build digital currencies and cryptos that are backed and supported by those things, and then we can have smart contracts. So the whole world doesn't have things like the U.S. does, right? So you have a deed to your house, you have an insurance on your house, you have title insurance on your house. Khan from Saudi Arabia and the backwoods doesn't have that. He might have owned that property for the last 200 years in his family. Say war breaks out for 2 years, and Khan has to take everything because there's no banking system. Khan has to take everything that he owns from that because of the war. So he takes his sheep under his arm, his kids, a few of the clothes, and they're gone, right? War's over 2 years later. Khan comes back to his property. Somebody else is living there now. Well, this ain't your property. Yes, it's been in my family 200 years. Prove it. He can't. He got rugged for everything, right? Digital contract proves Khan owns that property, and it banks the unbanked for the entire world. Now he can have an insurance policy. They don't have health insurance or insurance on their house if a fire burns down or water floods. We can give that to the entire world now. Africa is one of the most unbanked places in the world. Cardano, Charles Hoskin, who helped Bitcoin, helped create Ethereum, and now created Cardano, solved the problem of the supply and demand and the actual smart contracts, and he goes after governments to where he can start bringing resources to people through that. Now a kid with a phone in Zambia can actually start gaining value and stop being so hungry and poor. So now super rich people don't like that, bankers don't like that, insurance companies don't like that to an extent because they lose control of those people. Poverty and imaginary lines are there so that you can feel better about yourself. It's not human. Like people get mad at God. Well, if God's so real, why are there starving people in Africa? He's not letting them starve. You are. He gave you every resource you need. There's enough food for everybody. There's enough water for everybody. But if we don't give it to them, we feel rich and we don't think about them being poor. It was all just a class of misusing power and people not actually walking in love with them, but out of fear, thinking that God's not going to give us enough, and he throws lame parties and he's going to run out of chips and dip, so I need to hoard my chips and dip and your chips and dip so I don't run out, and I don't care if you run out. That's crazy. He gave us all the oil we'll ever need, all the food we'll ever need, all the resources we'll ever need, as long as we'll ever need it. But because we start to move those things, people in that power try to move that thing, it makes people super poor. Digital currency changes that. And that's why there's been such a pushback and a fight on it. It's a digital ledger with no mistakes since its inception, showing everybody. There's a saying in business, when the tide goes in, you get to see who's naked, right? Who's over leveraged, who's overbought, who's done this. Crypto doesn't let anybody let the tide come in. You know who's naked and who's not already.
So how people should start? Like, let's say
Get
if somebody wants
make
to
an informed decision. So you need to go study Bitcoin, go read the white paper, go look it up. You can Google any of it, go read Ethereum's paper, anything. For
Study.
1 week, spend 40 hours, just like you would at a job, to learn. And it'll change your whole life. It'll change your grandkids' life.
Correct. I agree with that because
But they don't want to do that. They want to say, oh, I don't know, that's a scam, I don't know. People, there's early adopters, there's innovators, early adopters, then there's people that hit on the curve, then the up, then the down, there were people would still have rotary phones in their house if they sold them. They stopped selling them, so now nobody has them. They all have a smartphone in their pocket. So until all the other things are taken away, we won't get a total mass adoption like people are screaming that, it's coming, it's coming. It is, but we're still really, really early. Because just that simple thing that I think is kind of simple knowledge, 99% of the world has no idea what I even just said. And I tried to make it as simple as possible. And I only learned that through being informed, spending time to try to figure that out. And now I'm going to get exponential gains for it because there's the largest transference of wealth in the history of humanity is happening right before their eyes. You know the country that's going to win, I believe? The country that prints money and buys Bitcoin with it. If I was Donald Trump, the first thing I'd do is print another $4 trillion and buy as much Bitcoin as I possibly can, and then the U.S. would rule the world forever.
So do you think Bitcoin is the best currency to invest in?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And how people
It's
handle
outperformed any other asset in the world
and how people going to
from the history of inception.
and how people can handle the extreme volatility about it.
Don't think about it every day. Like
Just don't look
just
at it
know
every
it's going to
day.
come. It goes up and down. The volatility is the price you pay for the gains that you get, and that volatility
Correct.
is we're losing that volatility every year. Bitcoin's like 15 years old, right? And so every year, every bull cycle, it runs on four-year cycles where they half the miners. So all the people making the figuring out those complicated math problems get paid half of what they used to get paid every year. So it's deflationary, right? U.S. dollar is inflating. They're deflating that. So supply and demand shock kicks in. That's why we have a bull run every 4 years. And they've done that for the next 100 and something years, right? It'll do that until it's all mined.
So is it a bull run right now?
Yeah, absolutely. It just started.
So
just started. So you got
what
about 4 months to get crazy rich. Most influencers will tell you got about a year, and I could be a little wrong, but I've been through 2 of these cycles already, so I'm telling you my
So
experience.
what is the best
Believe
thing
what you want.
if
Do your own
somebody
research.
if somebody wants to get rich of crypto, and let's say they want to invest like let's say 10K, put it on the Bitcoin?
That's the safest if you want to just be safe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to give you a 10x, 100x. Or, Bitcoin's probably going to hit probably a couple $100,000 a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 100,000 now. If you put 100 in, you're going to make 100. You put 10 in, you're going to make another 10. It's going to be 20.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other coins, top 25 altcoins, that are actually building real world utility, having assets. They're putting real estate on chain. I used to own a bunch of property, and I had to evict people. I had to clean up property outside in, make sure permits, things, this, that. I had to fix leaky roofs, dishwashers, everything. It's a lot of work. Digital asset, I ain't got to do nothing. My Bitcoin and Ethereum Cardano's never leaked. I never had to evict it or anything. And I could leverage it just the same because there's no taxes on borrowed money. So the name of the game is to buy as much Bitcoin as you can and then borrow your Bitcoin from you, borrowed against it. And then now it's tax-free, and then you use that to invest in something else. And Bitcoin goes up so fast, it goes up faster than the interest you would have to pay, so you don't ever lose your Bitcoin or have to pay it back. That's what Elon Musk did with his Tesla stock. He never sold any of his stock. He borrowed against it, and it went up faster than he had to pay it back, so he's the richest man in the world now. It's a simple game. It's the same tactic. They're just doing it a different way. It's just, money's not even real. It's all about human connection and building value through relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you're not building good relationships, who cares how much money you got? You're gonna be alone and miserable. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I never really have to spend money on anything. People won't even accept my money. But now, if you come visit me, you're not allowed to bring your money because we've built so many relationships with each other. Like, that's just what we do, right? The only times I think Christians should fight is over who pays the bill.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is a very beautiful thing. And it's available to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not some just crazy anomaly. I'm just actually exposing the truth and with experience. So I'm not just saying it. Like, you don't go to the homeless guy and ask him how to run your finances, or the guy that's gotten divorced 7 times for marriage advice, right?
So how much did
Check the fruit. Go talk to that person.
How much did you lose the most in one day and gain the most in one day out of crypto?
I don't know. I know I lost probably $1.5 million in one day
and gained
by clicking a wallet and getting hacked. But it was still my fault, so don't be afraid of that. Just be cautious and informed to not let scammers scam you, because there's scammers in everything.
And
there's
crypto
people that kick
also?
in doors.
So
Just
is
like
there
people
any
say,
way?
oh, we use Bitcoin to do criminal activity. Well, every single transaction is logged forever. That's the worst thing a criminal could do, is use Bitcoin to do it. You're never getting away with it. You might have at the time, but as soon as people figure out, they're going to know what everybody did, everything they did.
So can somebody scam you on Coinbase? Or
No, so Coinbase is pretty safe. They're onboarding tons of newbies. Crypto.com, Coinbase, they all should be good. And just don't get, until you get more informed, don't get crazy active. Just buy it and leave it alone.
Yeah.
You get scammed by clicking links in Telegram groups and on Twitter, trying to, greed will get you. You think, oh, I can do this and I can get this. And then that guy gets you to make an excited, uninformed decision. He's just scamming you.
You
just
know,
like anybody can do in anything.
you know what
Uh,
I realized when I was thinking about crypto? That is one of the most greatest tools of self control, like how to train your self control. Honestly,
yeah, because
there is nothing more triggering than crypto because it has extreme highs, it has lows, it makes you experience regret, it
right.
makes you experience extreme high when you win, then you regret that you didn't invest something that went up 300% in 1 hour. You're like, oh damn, you know. So then people always go through this cycle of emotions, and it's an amazing teacher actually how to.
Well, that's what charts are. You understand?
Right.
The charts are charting human emotions. That's why
It's
we can look at what
incredible.
the chart used to do, because humans usually don't
Right.
change. They go in
It's
cycles.
emotions,
They go in
right?
cycles. Just like the sun comes up, goes down. Sun comes up, goes down.
So once you master,
People's emotions
yeah,
are being able to be tracked, and that's what the chart is. It's showing what people FOMOing, fear of missing out, or the people aping in, it's buying a bunch of it, or clipping it. It's what they call it. So there's a
yeah,
whole different language, just like your teenagers have a different language. And you can just start to learn the bywords that people use and what they mean, and you can Google any of it. So everybody has all the knowledge at their fingertips. But like I said earlier, it's about getting an understanding of that knowledge, and all you're getting, get an understanding. And there's good people that are going to help you. That's around. But like I said, time tells on everybody and everything. So when I first got in it, I just sat back and watched everybody for years, because I wanted to see who I could trust, who I could. Talent will get you in the room, but only character will keep you there.
mm-hmm.
I wanted to see who had the character, who stayed in the room. And a lot of people came and gone. And the ones that stayed, I either know what they're doing, either good or bad, right? Because some people don't care. They're staying in there. They're not good. Good, sorry. So don't be in a hurry. Take your time.
Educate
Get
yourself.
educated.
Yeah.
Do your own DYOR is what we say. It's do
Mhm.
your own research, and find a trusted group of people that you can do life with.
And
Just
trust
like
your
in real
intuition
life
too,
without
right?
crypto, it's the same thing.
And
But
trust your
volatility,
intuition.
volatility is wild. It's up and down. Just buy it and leave it alone. I'm what they call a hodler. I like to just buy it and hold it for long term, right?
Mhm.
Now I'll do some degen trades and buy and sell. And to answer your question, the most I lost on with me doing it was like $600,000 in a week, because I made a trade and the system went down on Coinbase, and because I had that spot to buy or sell, I can't remember exactly what it was, and then it came back online like 3 hours later, and it made the sale that I didn't want to make anymore because I could cancel it. I got wiped out on that because of
sorry.
volatility. Oh, it's okay, because time, it comes back around. And
Yeah.
so a couple months ago, I made every bit of that back, and I screenshot it and sent it to a guy that I was doing discipleship and life with back there. I sent it. I was like, hey, got it all back. Remember that week? And it was
Yeah.
the week that they asked me to come and teach on finances. So I go to teach finances. The day before, I lost $600,000, and now you're going to go help these Bible students learn about finance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so-
Well, knowing about loss is important, like knowing about gains.
Absolutely. And that's water trying to get in your boat and sink you.
Yeah.
But you press on.
Yeah.
A lot of people say money can't buy happiness. Yeah, it can. Only broke people say that.
Well, the thing is this, right? So you can lose because in my life, I gained a lot, I lost a lot, I earned a lot, and I was giving a lot.
Yeah.
So it's all extremes really in my life, and I learned that the most important is your physical and mental health. That's the two things you have to always maintain, physical and mental health, because if you're healthy mentally and physically, you can always recover. You can always get the strength to keep
Yeah,
going.
because you're the real value.
Because you're the value.
The money
exactly.
is not real. You're the value.
You're the source and you're the vessel, and you have ability if you're on a high frequency to, because this whole universe has no limits. So if we're in the high frequency, if we're mentally and physically healthy, we have ability to recover again and do so much more with our lives now,
Yes.
with a better knowledge, and now with the lesson that we learned from that, you know. So the key is to always stay positive. Look at if people lost. I mean, I lost, I gained,
Yeah.
back.
Just
so
give it time.
just
No
give
matter
it
what,
time
give it.
and
Oh, I'll
don't.
tell you this: the wisest man ever stepped foot on the earth, past Jesus, King Solomon, said this: "This too shall pass.
This what?
This too shall pass."
Yeah.
So whether you're having a great life, great day, bad life, just remember, no matter what you're going through, good or bad, this too shall pass.
Okay.
So give it some time. And I wanted to clarify real quick what I said earlier, because it says when I said money can't buy happiness, yes it can. Only broke people will say that. That the reason I said that was because happiness is not the goal. Happiness it comes from the Greek word of happenstances. So that's what happens to you, and not all things that happen to you are good. So the ultimate goal can't be happiness. It's okay to be happy, but if your identity is in happiness, you're going to lose. Because I've never seen an unhappy person on a jet ski, and jet skis cost money. So money can buy happiness. The goal is to have true joy. Joy is who you are, and that doesn't change whether it's a storm going on, whether this.
Joy is the highest vibration.
Like I said, this too shall pass. If you keep your joy, it doesn't matter whether it's up or down or left or right or good or bad. So.
Come closer.
I'm out of here.
All right, my buddy Richie beaming, baby, in the house.
It's mind, body, and spirit, though, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the spiritual malady, then you can't.
1 second.
You need to be further in. Sorry.
I'm scooting over there.
Oh, you're taking it.
Scoot up.
Yeah, well, hang on. Well, jeez. This is the problem.
Whoops. I think the only thing I could really add to that, I think, was the spiritual malady, because I've done the same thing in my life with health.
Okay, let's start with a little introduction. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is
All
this guy?
Can you put us? Can you put us on the? Yeah.
in the house.
All right, my beautiful people. So we have another guest here with LoudMouth. He introduced himself as LoudMouth too. But, but I'll let you introduce yourself. You're a successful entrepreneur, and I wanted to give you space to say something as well.
Absolutely. I'm Rich Beam. I'm an investor, entrepreneur, crypto investor. We have a lot of fun just with business and health and success. I mean, that's really what life is all about, is helping a lot of people. The more people you help, the more fun you have. You know, I think I've done it the wrong way, and I've done it the right way, and I think the right way is the high road, right? There's always room on the extra mile.
Yes. So your message is basically that we can always do more for others, and this is how we secure prosperity. Do more good, and more good will come to you.
Absolutely.
But like
it's karma.
with an open heart.
Karma,
really.
yeah.
Yes.
And I think that comes from like the Buddhist religion. You know, they speak in a karma sense. You know, if you breathe out the negativity, bring in the positivity. So the more positivity you breathe in, the more positivity you can share with the world. If you're always taking in all this negativity, you need to have time to recharge, and that's what their whole thing was meditation and recharging. And that's how we get the spiritual malady. How do we get that? We talk to God. We pray, we meditate, we exercise, we speak words into existence. We speak
Yeah,
the word.
life and death's in the power of the tongue.
Exactly.
And that karma thing, people will say, oh, karma. Well, Jesus said it first. He said, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, that so he will also reap. If you plant corn, you cannot expect it to grow watermelon. You're going to get corn because you planted corn. So whatever you're sowing, you're going to reap. And then Buddha said that's karma. So
I think the most important thing to realize is success is not something that you put on your head or on your body or you hop into. It's the things that are on the
It's
inside.
the invisible things.
Yeah, and the things that you have to work for, the discipline. The health truly is wealth, and health in all forms: spiritual health, mental health, physical health. I mean, I can add a little bit to the thing here, but we've run over several different.
It was. We went to the butt.
Mind, body, and spirit,
mind
right?
can take what the butt can
and
handle.
I think the spirituality. I've done it without the spirituality. I've done it with the spirituality, and I think the spirituality is what most people are missing. And how do we get that? We talked about that earlier. Community. We have to.
So for those that don't know, Richie's from my hometown.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
when I moved back, he was like the first person that got kind of put us back together. And it's like, we're like twins. How did we not even hang out before? But he witnessed my life, things that I just told you, kind of he could co-sign on that. And I witnessed his life before. So anything he says, I can kind of co-sign on that. Like, this is real. We're not just doing a show. This is our real life.
Right.
And God put us together just like he put us together. And so there's a lot of delight in that, and I think that this is what it's about. It's about friendship, discipleship, and doing life together. That I can never get jealous of him because I can never be him. I want him to be as successful as possible.
Lifting everybody up,
He's
rise the tides.
It's like a
last
brother
night,
from
you
another
know, you
mother.
told me I'm supposed to go to the gym. He's the one that got me started going to the gym.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the word talks about different things, and it helps a little. So, like, everything helps a little. So, the mind, the body,
The gym
the spirit.
helps the most.
So we
It
have
builds
to,
your discipline. It builds your body. It builds your clear mind.
Absolutely.
I could
Nutrition.
never. Of course, nutrition and healthy movement. That's the two most important things.
Well, you know what he told me though? He said, "Life's too short for abs."
Life's too short.
Excuse me. How you can
There's a
say
guy.
that?
There's a guy at the gym. It's a joke. It's a joke. There's a guy at the gym. He's always like, Richie,
My
life's too short
God.
to have abs.
But abs are built in the kitchen, not the gym, is what I hear.
I mean, and also like
But if we
So
want to
definitely it's
if
too
we want to
short,
get
right?
real biblical, though, I mean, we're talking about Bible and spirituality. Even
I think
in
we got pretty
even
biblical.
even in other religions, the food that they were talking about when they enacted all of those books was not the food that we eat today.
Not even
the
close.
food that we eat today is far different because it's genetically engineered, it has chemicals in it, and it's got everything is artificial. So if we really want to live in the likeness of God and truth and success and all of that comes from what God intended it to be. If we're going against what God
See, that's what
intended
I'm
it to
working
be,
on right now because
Yeah.
I like Chick-fil-A.
I would like to,
But I'd rather be in God's image, so I'm working on that self-control in my life right now.
Absolutely.
but
It's a
I
discipline.
want to give you a tip, okay? How I lost 40 pounds or 50 pounds or I don't know. I was visualizing actually. I was visualizing because like yes, you can count calories, you can see how much calories you burned, but there is so many people who can never lose weight even if they are on diet, they're working out, but for some reason they're not losing weight. You know why? Because they don't believe they can.
That's right.
They don't believe they can, and they hold the fat girl or fat boy image in their mind.
That's their identity.
That's their identity. So even when they lose weight, they gain it back because they can't handle being slim. It's just like, but it's a subconscious thing. It's
Well,
not
it's just
like
like
they
some
wanna,
people,
yeah.
they're like, they would rather stay sick than to get healed because that's all they ever knew as an identity.
It's fear. It's fear. So if you let fear become your reality, then you will always be paralyzed. So fear is fun. So if you use fear as a motivator to act your way into the right thinking. So you can't think your way into the right acting. You have to act. So like that's what God made us to do is made us to create and act. And through acts and through community and through
You're saying
fellowship,
act is like action, right? Not like
Action.
act. Because
Love
some people
is
will
an
say, you
action.
need to act right. You need to this, that. And we're
Yeah.
not actors. We shouldn't be acting.
Action.
That means that you're not who you are. But taking action.
Yeah, I'm not talking about acting.
taking
No,
action.
this is
That's what
all-
I was
yeah.
clarifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
No.
I know that's what you
Yeah.
weren't saying that. Like, we're not supposed to be actors. We're supposed to be who we are while taking action.
I'll tell you this.
Execution.
I'll tell you this. I wouldn't be half the place I am today without the gym, though. I think that was the foundation of my
Absolutely.
success, and I think God led me to that because I started to learn about nutrition. I started to learn about the Word. I started to learn about who I was, and I think like when you figure out who you are, that's how life. That's when life starts. You know, if you stop putting everybody else's depiction of who you are and you find out who you really are, then life changes. Because I think most people are looking to the world to figure it out when it's on the inside. So you drink life in. There was a nutritional company that I purchased different things, and that was their motto. It was an amazing motto because you truly do, you cellularly turn into what you consume. So if you're not consuming what God intended us to consume, that's why people don't do good. They treat their bodies like woodshed. They just throw stuff in there, and they don't have they don't have the proper disciplines to create that. And you have to get excited because people aren't getting excited in the world. If you get excited in the world, then you can change the world because it's just it's an intentional thing. Like, why do people not get excited about success and fellowship and community and being and doing, acting, exercise? Oh, well, I can add value to myself, and that's gonna maybe influence somebody else to start going to the gym and getting healthy. So that it's like an infectious thing. If you're not excited, then you won't be. It might be overlooked. So the excitement is a malady that also can be overlooked. And so, the guy that just he's got it all and he's just being calm and he should share and that's how you grow. Learn to share. That was an amazing thing that I learned in life, and I wish I would have learned it sooner. Is learn to share. Be a sponge.
Thank
but
you.
nutrition and all of that is kind of like one of my.
Yeah, he inspires me for sure.
But I fall short every day too, though. I fall short. Everybody does. So all of this stuff is easier said than done, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like you were saying earlier, like if I'm in a bad situation, it's because I made a lot of small bad decisions. So the only way out, there's no lottery. It's a lot of small good decisions. It's
pay rent every day.
It takes time. It takes time. You can't go to the gym like I'm going to lose 100 pounds and then lose it tomorrow. Break it up and say I'm going to lose 10 pounds 10 times. I mean, God broke up I'm going to create the world in 7 days, not all at once. He even took breaks and said it's good. Like, you need to have celebration. You need to break it up into phases. Like, hey, I'm going to do this, and when I accomplish that, yes, and then I'll start the new journey. So you do it, rest, celebrate, do it again. Rest, celebrate, do it again. Now, don't celebrate with a whole cheesecake, but
I even went to the extent I made my little office podcast room, whatever you want to call it. I made it into, an affirmation. So I have that Monopoly thing with the cop on there saying, "Success is never owned, rent is due daily." So I have that right there on my desk. So like you have to affirm the truth, and then you have to have a course of action. So if you're not affirming the truth, what is the truth? So a lot of people are tapped into false truths.
Yeah.
So they'll never be successful. So if you're tapped into too much harmful things, everybody's going to get some. Chick-fil-A. He likes Chick-fil-A sometimes, but most of the time you need to have a high percentage of rocket fuel. You can't be a rocket ship without rocket fuel.
True.
So I think it's a good start. Nutrition.
Yeah, nutrition, absolutely. It changed my life too. Like, the thing is, like, I never ever ate bad besides my eating disorders. When I was like 17, 18, I got really bad into anorexia, bulimia. I kind of like stopped eating and then emotional eating. So in that moment, it's not a question of healthy nutrition because literally it's a mental disorder. You just eat too much or you don't eat and you think you're on a diet, but you're literally just killing yourself, for these mental diseases. But when I healed myself, it was really through healthy food. That's it. I just started to eat healthy and I put my life in a balance. So what is the most important is to realize when we have some life imbalance, a lot of people, they project it into food because food can be a drug. Sugar can be a drug. All these
Oh,
fat.
it definitely is a drug.
It is stronger than cocaine, and then also like McDonald's, all these things, they're addictive. So people, they crave.
There's a book called The Truth About Sugar.
They crave these things, and it tastes good, it gives you release, but then as a cycle, and the problem with that is a cycle that is gonna affect you in every single physical way. Like people who have these addictions for fast foods, for these crazy American portions, which is abnormal, honestly. Why would you want to eat 16 floors hamburger they sell somewhere?
It's an addiction.
It's like, yeah, they sell it in Vegas.
They sell
it's
more
like,
of it. They want to sell a bunch of them.
No, there is like a hamburger that has 16
Layers, yeah.
layers.
If
I'm
you were
like,
in the hamburger business, wouldn't you want to sell more hamburgers? So you gotta know that the devil's out there trying to market.
this is literally
so that-
demonic, just
Yeah.
to
Well,
like,
it says he only shows up to kill, steal, and destroy.
yeah, and this
And so
diet
that's
will
how you
kill
can
you.
know real quick
Absolutely.
which is which. There's a kingdom of darkness and there's a kingdom of light. The enemy only shows up to kill, steal, and destroy, and then Jesus came to give you life and life in abundance. So whatever thought is in your mind, you take every thought captive, put it in handcuffs, and you only let it go if it falls under the kingdom of light. Is it a giving thought? Is it a helping thought? Is it an abundant thought? Or is it a steal, kill, destroy thought? And then after you do that for a while, you'll know real quick how to discern what thoughts you release and what thoughts you keep captive.
Correct.
He says, take every thought captive and put it under the obedience of Christ. That's what that means. It means every thought you get, put it immediately in handcuffs, and it only gets released if it's freedom.
I question a lot of things too, because a lot of people are selling new truths. So truth is not new; it's old. So like the biblically, that's thousands of years old. So when they're coming out with all these new truths, we're overdrugged, we're undernourished, we're in a nutritional famine. So we're nutritionally overstimulated with all these new chemicals and artificials. So that is the reason why America's sick. So you have to go back to the truth. You have to go back before they started doing that, and then start applying much more of that.
Think
in
about
your
this
life.
too. They're
And you'll be
malnutrition,
so much more
right?
successful.
Spiritually, people are malnutrition because they don't. The Bible says that the word is good for meat. It's bread. It's what we eat. It's sweet like a honeycomb, and most people don't read it at all, or they just trust the preacher guy. His first two, his verse or two, once a week, maybe once a month, maybe once a year. So they're spiritually malnutrition, and I think they're spiritually hangry. You ever heard of my wife's hangry? She's hungry and angry because she's hungry. She got angry. I think that people
Angry,
are
yeah.
spiritually hangry, and that's why you meet people that say they represent or follow Christ when they act just like everybody else. Like, well, I don't want that. If that's what you're over here offering,
Yeah.
it's because they don't know Him. They don't read.
Because
the
they
Word.
don't know any
They're
better.
starving.
Yeah.
They're starving.
I got the opportunity one time to see Les Brown speak in Salt Lake City.
Amazing.
He said you got to get hungry. So like the reason why he was so successful because he never stopped. He went and took the Temptations on he was their chauffeur, but he had went to the record studio like every day, and his dude finally gave him a job, and then he ended up being like he was just like a street kid down here in Miami, and then. He was like the senator of so
He's a beast.
it was amazing. It's amazing to see the ambition of some people. Like if you don't have a lot of drive and focus, where do you get that from? You have to. The knowledge is out there. There's so many wonderful books and audios and things that can inspire you, but you have to get excited about it. Nobody can get excited for you. So that's the thing is figuring out those philosophies, the new philosophies, because there's always new ways of applying the truth, but the truth is
just take for instance,
the truth,
I hear
right?
I hear a lot of people that they say, well, we're spiritual, not religious, right? And they'll say the universe. I want to pray to the universe and stuff. And my question is, why would you pray to the universe when you can go directly to the creator of the universe? I never go to the third. Hey, who's the third person in charge around here? Like, I want to go straight to the top. And Jesus gave us access straight to the top, through Him, straight to God.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pray to the Creator and talk to Him about it. And He hasn't let me down yet. So you don't have to trust me or believe me. Go check it out for yourself. Do your own research, just like in crypto. And man, Back in the day, it was telling don't eat red meat and drink milk within 3 days. Like we didn't even know germs existed till 120 years ago.
Yeah.
They were delivering a baby or doing surgery on an appendix and then going delivering a baby without washing their hands, like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. 6,000 years ago in Leviticus it says, "Put your hand under running water." How would we like? I think he knows what's going on here. Like science doesn't disprove the Bible; it actually proves that it's the truth. It's truth and real. So go check it out yourself.
Okay. What is the last thing you guys want to share? A last one.
I got one thing
Simple
about the
thing.
crypto thing.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like,
Go about crypto.
just one thing to add to what he said. I was reading an article the other day. A guy dollar cost averaged.
That's the best.
A guy dollar cost averaged $30. It was $30 a week.
So when you hear somebody
for
say
7
DCA,
years, had 11 bitcoins now. That's over $1 million. So if you dollar cost average for 7 years, odds are you're going to be buying the lows, buying the mids, buying the highs. Don't look at it. Just let it do its thing, and it's going to be. It's going to be great because I've been tracking Bitcoin since 2016, and I always moved it around. I mean, I made some money, but if I would have probably just been more consistent, I would be a whale.
If I would have left it alone, I'd be 100 millionaire.
Yeah.
But you want to move it and do things, think you're going to trade this. Nah, man, just buy it, leave it alone.
So whatever you can afford, dollar cost average it. I got it set on my phone. It just does what it does. And it's done. You're not looking at it. So if you buy a piece of real estate, you're not going to sit there and stare at the piece of real estate all day. You got shit to do. So get busy living and let the Bitcoin do what it does.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin. So can you tell us something about the cycle, because it's a 4 years cycle? So what it exactly means for a complete beginner right now, because you're the expert. So let's say today is January 2025, and are we in the 4th year right now? Correct?
We are.
Is it the last chance to make money right now in this cycle?
Yes, this is the bull run right now.
People
Okay.
are making money in any cycle, though. It's just how much time do you want to invest, or what kind of tech
So
are
it's
you
not
using?
exactly on the dates, but it's so many hashes, and so many things mined once the Bitcoin's mined after so many, and it runs right now according to about every 4 years, right with the presidential election. Every presidential election, it's
4
almost
years.
pretty close, yeah. And so April this year is when Bitcoin halved again. And about 4 more years is when it'll do it again. So say the miners got paid $10,000 for every Bitcoin they mined, and I'm just using that easy math. April, now they only get paid $5,000. 4 more Aprils, roughly, they're going to get paid $2,500. So what do you think that does to supply and demand? It's supply and demand shock. So the price shoots up because there's less of it. And now if they're going to do a government reserve for the United States, then other countries are doing it right now as well too. The countries are about to buy it. All the people, the exchanges don't have enough Bitcoin already. There's not enough. So it's like if there was only 5 cases of water left in the world and everybody's standing in the desert.
Eventually, they're going to stop taking paper for it.
What do you think it's going to make? It won't be a Bitcoin. People will be buying a Satoshi because there's 1 million Satoshis in each Bitcoin. And it's just like a penny to $1, right? So there's pennies to the Bitcoin called a Satoshi. And people will be just trying to buy a Satoshi eventually. That puts Bitcoin at $1 million a coin.
It's really going to get
Minimum.
interesting when it gets to 99%. So it's 6 years.
All of us will be dead by then, though. So
6 years it'll be 99%. It's going to take another 100 years or whatever
to mine the rest.
to mine the rest. So in 6 years, in 2030,
2030, Bitcoin will probably be $10 million a coin.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, but when,
So
it, was
imagine
when it was a
dollar-
penny and I said it'd be 100,000, everybody thought
It
it was
doesn't
hilarious
sound that
too.
crazy.
Yeah, when it was $1 and it went to $1 million, I mean,
But like we said
time will
earlier,
tell.
success is is here today, gone tomorrow. If you're not investing, then it can just pass you like that.
So the last thing I want to say is hopefully this talk inspired you to be the best you could possibly do. I tell all my kids, you don't even have to put my name on my tombstone. Just make sure that you wrote, he did it. So that 100 years from now, when nobody would even remember my name, they can be inspired. Well, maybe if he did it, I should do whatever it is for me too. So hopefully this inspired you to go do what you do best and to be the best you. And I challenge you, when you get alone, call out to God, talk to him if you don't know him, and say, hey, I don't understand this. Show up. He's a big God. He doesn't need me or Richie or her to say anything about it other than to just share her life. So hopefully that inspired you to go build your relationship with him.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Health is wealth. I hope you guys
Thank you.
blow it up. Health truly is.
Let's
a
go.
foundation.
Shout out Ryan, making us look good on screen.
Can you please tell your social media?
Oh, _loudmouth.eth on Instagram and loudmouth_eth on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
All right. Thank you so much. So, guys, this was Out of This World show with a Loudmouth and Loudmouth too, Rich.
So the name of the show is Out of This World.
Out of this world.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think
Out
it was
of This
definitely Out of
World.
This World for sure.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much for watching, and follow us on Out of This World show on Instagram, and also follow my personal profile for more motivational and inspirational quotes at the Clara Lima with K. I love you. Bye.